Hello, and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Mark Wilson Jordan. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible, and to give you, our viewers, a window into their art, their artistic process, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection. Let's meet today's indie artist, Sandra Laraine Coleman. Sandra, welcome back to Indie Encounter.
Thank you very much. And let me just say that it is always a tremendous honor and blessing to be here.
Cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Always good to see you on camera.
Whether I'm hosting or guesting, right?
Well, we had a little snafu earlier today, but here we are. We're ready to go.
Yes.
So you were here, about a month ago?
Yeah.
And we were talking about your new book, and remind me the title, because I won't get it just right.
There Ain't Nothing to Do But Breathe.
There Ain't Nothing to Do But Breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, you've been doing the book signing
Yes.
tour around Southern California and doing some events. How's that been going?
It has been crazy busy, but so much fun and so rewarding. I'm being well received and getting offered to come places and read from my book, and people want to purchase my book, so it's very exciting. It's, like I said, it's so rewarding and so, to be appreciated.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And congratulations to you for getting out into the world, because so many people who write want to just sit in their rooms at their desks and write. But you have to actually get out into the world and interact with people and let them know what you're up to.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the hardest things for poets, because I did the same thing for a long time. I just sat at home and wrote. And then found out there were places where I could go to read what I wrote. And so from there, I did a couple of chapbooks, but I actually have an official book with an ISBN number that can go into libraries and bookstores. And so, we just want to be artists, and the business part of it is like, you have to find out how you can be creative with that too, because it's about the art and the creativity for us. We're not really good business with the business end of it, because we just want to create. And there was a time when you could hire someone to do those things for you, but in this economy, it's not realistic unless you already have X amount of dollars, or maybe know somebody that'll do it, maybe pro bono until,
Or you already have a big name.
Yes.
And just people seeing your name on a marquee with a date will get them to show up.
Exactly. Like
we should all be so lucky.
Really, we should. We really should. But it's been such a busy time, because I have to work both sides of it. And at the same time, I'm doing, promoting my book and going to these book signings and poetry readings. I'm hit with inspiration. So I have to stop and I have to write, and then I have to continue, or I have to work it out where I can do both at the same time.
So the well is not dry yet?
No, I don't think it will ever be, because as long as I'm breathing and people are doing stuff, like today, there was this really nice car in the gas station, and two gentlemen were in it. One was inside and the other one was sitting in the car. But there was this ridiculously loud music coming out of it from a young rap artist with all this cursing and all this. And I'm looking at these guys, they're my age. I'll be 50 next year. And I'm looking at these guys. It was such a contrast. And I'm going to write a poem about that, because that was ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous.
I believe your reaction was, they are way too old to be.
Yes, that was my reaction, because as I stated, I like that artist too. But there's no way I'm going to drive down the street with it blaring out of the windows of my car. It was just
Well,
inappropriate.
they were, well, inappropriate to you, but they were fully self-expressed because they were singing along. And the heads were bopping
And that made it worse. That they knew all the words. They were killing me. I'm sorry, but it just looked so out of place in this society, in this time, in this day, in this age, that these men are grown, way past grown men, are riding around singing this like teeny bopper rapper song with all this cursing. And I guess I was raised differently too. My parents would never approve of something like that. And so the things that they instilled in me, I still carry with me today. So when I see something like that, it does something to my spirit. And so now I feel compelled to write about it.
well, you certainly had a reaction
Yes.
to what was going on.
Right.
And not that what they were doing was necessarily wrong, it's
No.
just a different approach from what you might have taken.
Right.
And isn't that what art is about?
Yes.
I mean, if everybody had the same take
Right.
on life, we wouldn't have to talk.
Right.
We wouldn't have to write anything because
Right.
it's like, oh, okay, I know what that's about.
Right. Right. But I definitely want to call attention to that picture so that people can understand if that's what they're doing. If they're okay with it, fine. But if you want to know what you really look like,
what somebody else's take was on it.
exactly, then I'm gonna let you know. And I don't have to be mean or rude or harsh. I can just paint the picture. You can form your own opinion.
Because we didn't take a photograph, and we could have, and then we could have
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it on the web.
Yeah. This
Look at
is
these
what you look
knuckleheads.
like when you are 50 years old. But yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
if we had been younger, we would have been quicker to get those cameras out.
reflex, right? I'm gonna have to remember to make myself a note. Take pictures of
Get the cameras out.
ridiculosity, or But yeah, I mean, the stories are constantly coming. They're constantly coming, and like even with my daughter, she's turning 18 today. And so,
Cool.
yeah, I'm excited for her. I wish I could be, at her party, but you can't be two places at the same time. But I did everything I could for the party, before I had to leave home. And then, calling her and, making sure she's okay, making sure, everything is okay. Make sure the camera was there so she could take lots of pictures, and I have a lot of poetry about her and our relationship and her leaving, because we've been together for 18 years.
And she's about to go off to college.
And she's about to go off to college and move
Cool.
into her own apartment. And she's already got a refrigerator for her snacks. She worked.
Take a deep cleansing breath
Yeah,
and let her go
I know.
off to college and free up some time for you.
And my books.
So you've been writing
Hmm.
since the last time I saw you,
Hmm.
and anything you'd like to share at this point?
Sure. This is about a young woman that I was on my way to the store and I saw her, and so I went home and I wrote this poem about her. And the poem is called I Wish She. I wish she could see what I see, standing all spread eagle-like close to the corner, squirming, calling the fellas out from behind uncurled curtains, tainted tinted windows, and shadowed shades they's wearing. She got peekaboo posture posing for nosy neighbors and passers-by. My, oh my, like she was a piece of life-size pre-pornographic art on temporary display in the hood. Seductively suggesting something, swinging them keys like she could open something, purposely positioned to catch something, whether she wants to or not. And they looking whether they want to or not, blowing lascivious smoke all up her birthright, watching her wiggle with the indignance of a stubborn child told too many times to Mind your manners. Be still. Get somewhere and sit down. And they don't. This whisper of a woman, just a loud talking with mouth and mischievous movement. Legs gap for the gaping. A little extra insurance for attention. Bought wholesale with her innocence. Girl, go and get your money back. And some sense while you at it. And where is your mama? Do she know you standing round like that? I wish she could see what I see. Careful, baby girl. You're headed for the lion's lair. And he got his mouth wide open.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So the picture you paint is not a pretty one.
No.
Of this girl on the corner.
Yes.
So obviously the the mother and you reacted, and I guess the next step would have been for you to walk over and grab her and say, "Girl,
Whoop
what do you
her.
think you're doing?"
Yeah, because, and I don't know what kind of environment she came from, but I know what kind of environment it appeared that she came from. Because the way she was moving, and I'm telling you, and I saw all this in a matter of like 2-3 minutes just passing by. And I saw the heads turning and, you know, sticking their heads out the window and, you know, just like, it was almost like the wolf licking his chops, you know, and she was about 15 years old. She might have even been younger because, you know, the kids today, yeah. But she was talking to a friend of hers. Now, the friend of hers was dressed totally the opposite and looked totally the opposite. It was such a contrast, and she had these keys on this little chain, and she was like swinging them around, and she couldn't be still. And it's like she knew everybody was looking at her.
But it's also possible their lives were moving in two different directions.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I wish, you know, sometimes you want to pull these young ladies to the side and say, hey, you know, you need to slow down. Womanhood is going to come soon enough. Don't rush it. Be that little girl. You will appreciate that when you get older.
But you can't always walk up to people on the street and share with them your opinion.
No.
But you write a poem about it, you might reach some other girl. Or you might reach her mother, and her mother might recognize the picture that's been painted. So,
and you pray that is what will happen.
yeah.
You pray that is what will happen, and not somebody just thinking that these are a bunch of words that somebody put on a piece of blank paper and, you know, not even see themselves. The whole purpose of these kinds of poems is that you recognize yourself or someone you know and go from there. What you choose to do about it is up to you. But if I don't use my voice to correct or at least draw attention to some of the things that I see that are incorrect, then maybe I shouldn't be doing what I'm claim I'm doing.
Well, you have to write what
Yes.
occurs to you, and you have to write out of your own experience.
Right.
So
Right.
what shows up, shows up.
Yes. And it does. It shows up. And I wasn't expecting to get this walking to the store, you know, but I saw it, and it was so. And I guess too, part of it is I'm at that age. I'm at that age where now I'm looking at these young people and I'm saying to myself, they could use some advice or they could use some guidance. Where before I was that teenager.
Okay.
I was that little girl wiggling, you know, getting everybody. But I know where she's headed if she doesn't get the guidance.
Right.
So I guess
Because you obviously did.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my parents didn't play that, you know. And I did. I, you know, tried certain things. You know, I was, you
So
know,
parents and other mentors.
yeah,
Because sometimes
yes,
it's difficult for it to come from your parents.
it is.
And
It
it needs to come
is.
from somebody else.
It does, and hopefully that when it does come from that someone else, you'll be receptive to it, no matter who it is or where it is, or even if it's in a poem. Maybe you can be receptive to it, you know, where nobody is actually telling you, but you're in your room with a book, or you hear it at a venue, or you know something, and it just happens to cross your path. And hopefully, the moment it crosses your path, you're receptive to it.
And then you're really struck because you're thinking, wow, they wrote this poem for me, and they don't
Yeah,
even know me.
I know. And how many times have I said that when somebody's, you know, on stage, or, wow, how did they get into my life like that, you know? But that's the whole art mirrors life. It's a mirror. And if you look into it, you will find there will be some recognition. You will see yourself
Yeah.
or someone you know. Yeah.
Keep writing.
Thank you.
And speaking of continuing to write, I bet there's another poem there somewhere.
Yes, there is. Now, this one I actually wrote. You know, I always have to do one for the men. So this one actually was written for, and I really can't call him imaginary, but I would say he was like a combination of like the men I know. So, but I always like to do something for them because I feel like we should be lifting them up instead of tearing them down. So one of my missions as an artist is to always do something positive for black men, and this one is called Does He Know? Here he come all prim and proud and proper, chest puffed with promises broken before made. Marvelous is his melanin movement, just moving easy like them breezes licking his face, laughing and stealing kisses. He's happy to wear the skin of Martin, Malcolm, Mumia, lovingly wrapped in it. Does he know what he's doing to the atmosphere around him? Got us all watching his warrior he been working since way back when. Got a hint of freedom in his walk. He sure would look nice in a rawhide front flap, a spear for hunting in his right hand, a skillfully crafted shield in his left, the pride of his tribe painted on his face, and the firm flesh God breathed life in. Body just begging for a fair young maiden, daughter of a chief, and her womb will blissfully bless more of him. Everything adjusts in his presence, folks fixing themselves to match his magnificence. We want to be reflections, catering to whims whispered below the breath, necks longing to feel his breath and be all out of breath. At his being, touching a little something deep inside. Could he be any more beautiful, bald, black, brown, brilliant, resilient like the rhythms that brought him here? There's a broken mold somewhere laying in pieces of remembrance. It's in the music flowing in him. The wedding ring wearing him. Aw, did I see a smirk? Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. And he don't give a damn because he's going home to be with his wife. I like that one.
I liked it too. I got this picture of this guy who had an impression on you because he spoke to the warrior and the
Right.
man.
Right,
But
right,
then again,
right.
he's married,
Yes.
which means he's in a position to make a commitment, and
Yes.
he's going home to that
Yes.
wife.
Yes. And I really liked when I got to the end, because sometimes okay, where do we go now? What am I going to do? What am I going to say? How do I want this to end? And so after all of this, and it's not just me watching him, it's everybody. Everybody is looking at this, man walking, and he knows people are looking, but he's he's on a mission, and that's to go home to be with his wife. So what everybody is thinking while they're looking at him, it doesn't even matter to him, because his sole purpose is to go home.
It may matter a little bit.
I mean, yeah, because I'm sure, everybody wants to be, loved and appreciated.
And he also knows he's not invisible.
Right, exactly. And he knows he's beautiful. He knows all of these things, but he's confident in who he is and confident in the fact that he has someone at home waiting on him. And that was the message that I wanted to convey.
Yeah.
A little, because, you hear all these horror stories, about relationships and stuff. And I thought, if we write it and talk about it,
Then we get to hear something good.
then we get to hear something. And maybe we could start practicing something good. If you hear it enough times, if I do enough of these poems, these men will show up.
So you're going to hold the space for them, for us.
Yes, I'm holding the space. Yes, because I have to put positive out in the universe for positive to come back. So that's my whole purpose of, I see all kind of stuff, and I see men doing all kind of stuff, and I write about that too, but I want this to be the focus, not that.
Right.
Because each one of them has the potential to be this.
Well, and it is a muscle to be exercised,
Right.
because if you go into the world and you have a positive impact, even for just a moment, and it feels good, then you think, oh, I'm going to recreate that. I'm going to do it for 2 minutes now.
Exactly.
And pretty soon, there's like 16, 17 hours a day that we're awake.
Exactly. And it becomes a part of your life, your ritual, and it's no longer 2 or 3 minutes.
Right. It's the default.
It's the yes.
Not the exception.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so we want to be we want this to be the rule. We want this to be the rule.
One more?
One more. And I think I'm gonna do been working on, let me make sure this is it. Been working on a friend's book. Reverdia Trammell, we call her the river. She's so deep. And her book is like 450 pages. And so we typed everything. I got myself, Alice the poet, and her daughter Gigi. We set out on this journey to get this book completed for her by her birthday. Well, it's done, but there's a chapter in the book for it's called Holy Water, and it's how the poetry community and people in her life feel about her. So this is my contribution to her book, and it's called No Shoes. She don't wear no shoes when weaving wisdom from soles of her feet. Got great-grandmother warmth garnishing her bones. Be birthing survival in them labored over lyrics and lessons for our living. Fixing what we didn't know was broke. Lucidity lingers when the river runs shoeless all up and through it, articulating what the ancients tell her to. She don't wear no shoes when standing on sacred ground, singing spirit songs with a surround sound way of speaking. She done taught that tongue to somersault and bring thoughts to life. How sweet it must be to be an ever-burning bushel of sage, blessing from beauty's beginning with her third eye way of seeing. A rebel without pausing, she don't wear no shoes, cultivating our comprehension all humble like and soft. Soft as lullabies soothing sleep, and strong. Strong as drum beats breathing loving all over our being, building a sanctuary of holy rhythms when she simply stands compassionately soldiering, making hurts want to heal, numbness want to feel, untangles mangled minds. Blues become barren and brilliance blooms. Heavy burdens long for lifting and lies want to grow up to be her truth. I swear her toes are receptors, collectors of knowing, literally. She praises passionately, flows fiercely, river dancing rhythms all over the room to make room for a ruminating revival. I have watched her words work miracles, and I am witness. Rippling rivers don't need no shoes.
All right. An impressive homage from
Yeah.
an impressive woman to an impressive
Oh,
woman.
wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if anybody knows anything about Reverdia, they know when she performs or speaks her poetry, she takes her shoes off because she told us that we're standing on sacred ground, holy ground.
Gotta get in touch with it.
Gotta get in touch with. And so she, no shoes.
Well, I wish we had more time to talk, but it's the end.
Aw.
So thank you for coming. It was really good to see you
Oh,
again.
thank you very much for having me.
All right. This has been Indie Encounter, a journey into the world of the independent creators of art and artistic communication. I want to thank today's guest, Sandra Laraine Coleman, for sharing her poetic vision with us, along with her poetry, and go see her new book of poetry, There Ain't Nothing Left to Do But Breathe, at her Facebook or at lulu.com. If you want to find out more about her, of course, check her out on Facebook by typing her name into your browser. Check out our website here at PasadenaCommunityNetwork.com and select the Arroyo channel. You may also check out my websites, markwilsonjordan.com or 4mark.com for additional information. Thanks to our director, Lilia Fernandez-Gaspar, and crew for making the show possible. Thanks again to all of you. We hope to see you here the next time when we embark on another Indie Encounter.